I got off, and my daughter calls my husband and tells how bad I was on Instagram. Yes, we're live. So she's probably going to watch here and say what a jerk her mom is looking on the computer.
Oh, well, you know what? We are live.
Yes,
And
we are.
Yes, and I'm going to go live on Instagram right now. I think I'm going to go live on Instagram right now. Nope, I'm not going to go live on Instagram right now. We're going to try this. Okay, now I'm going live on Instagram. So, hey, welcome to Winephabet Street. Yay! On a Wednesday.
That's right. Sorry to screw everything up.
Yes.
But I'm going to Iceland on Sunday, so I can't be here Monday, and didn't want to do it from Iceland, so.
And so it's a little discombobulating, and I'm really, really jealous that you're going to Iceland because that is on my major, wish list to go to. And completely nothing to do with wine, but Debbie, you know how horrible I am in history and geography and all of that stuff. But the only thing I ever remember from high school history or geography is that the reason why it was named Iceland was because they didn't want people to go there. So they purposely rechanged the name or named them Iceland is green and Greenland is cold, and that's the only thing I remember.
And it's located in a jet stream. So it's like going to be like in the 30s. So it's not, I don't think it's going to be as frigid as one thinks, but I got my fleece leggings. I got my boots. I got, as my grandmother would say, don't forget your woolies.
Woolies. Yes.
I got my woolies. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. So I hope you have a great time, and I plan on very much living through you. So post and, send me those private texts and everything so I can see. But so Michael is with us tonight, and he is drinking a Vinum Cellars. Very nice, very nice.
Very nice. 2013.
2013.
Right.
Is rather old. I am drinking a 2019, so there's a little difference.
And I'm drinking a 2016.
Oh, okay. So mine is like off, literally just out of bottle shock, probably. But I am drinking a Spire Chenin Blanc 2019. So this is from South Africa.
Right.
You know what? You're blurry. So
you're blurry to me too. This is Chapelet.
Chapelet.
Okay. 2016.
All right.
You're blurry to me.
I'm blurry to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of us probably doesn't have a good connection, but we'll live with it.
Well, since we're talking about the wine, I could go for a sip.
Oh, not quite as exciting as a pulled cork, but there you go. Here we go. I do love that sound. So, Sláinte.
Cheers.
I'm drinking it out of a Francho quarter glass. Ooh, nice nose. All right. I'm going to bring up Elmo.
All right, let's get this show on the road. It should be in there.
Yep, I'm in the wrong thing.
Okay.
Here we go.
Done after the whole thing I'm trying to get on here tonight.
Jump up, get down, come dance, spread down now. We're moving our body to the ABC. Dance nearby, dance far away, now clap your hands. To the letter of the day, clap, clap. What's the letter, clap, clap. What's the letter, clap, 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 clap.
What's the letter? What's the letter? What's the letter? What's the letter? What's the letter?
The letter of the day.
It's the letter of the day.
Yay! Clap, clap. It's the letter of the day. So we are talking the letter of the day as C for Chenin Blanc. And as I said earlier on Instagram on my little live preview, I really enjoy Chenin Blanc. And it really is not a very popular grape varietal, but it is coming back. People are starting to really make some really great Chenin Blancs, and there's more and more of it coming around. So I am glad to see that. I know of 3 fantastic Chenins just in Paso itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yes, because remember I did all of that research all summer long. Really tough research going around tasting everybody's Chenin Blanc and finding out what vineyards they're getting their Chenin Blanc from. But, somebody's got to do the tough stuff. But anyways, so Deb, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I'm known as the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess. I'm a wine blogger, a wine writer. I'm an author of Tapping the Hudson Valley, which is day trips and weekend itineraries visiting the craft beverage producers and more in the Hudson Valley. I'm partner in a restaurant in Stone Harbor, New Jersey called Kitchen 330. We're closed for the season now. Last Saturday was our last day, and we'll reopen again April 3rd. And I think that's it. I've got 2 kids, dog, and a husband.
All right. Well, I am Lori. I am a UC winemaking graduate along with the WSET Level 2 graduate. My husband and I own Dracaena Wines. I write a blog under Exploring the Wine Glass and the podcast under Exploring the Wine Glass. Dracaena Wines focuses on Cabernet Franc. And we are very, very excited that California Wines and Wineries held the first annual Cabernet Franc wine competition on Cab Franc Day, which I have to say, before we get to competition, I'm so happy December 4th is over. The whole month before December 4th is so much pressure on me for December 4th Cab Franc Day. But California Wines and Wineries held that first annual wine competition, and our Cabernet Franc got best in show in our classification. So we are very honored, very proud of that. So thank you to California Wines and Wineries for hosting that. And next year, it's going to be bigger and better because it's opening up to beyond California wines. So California Wineries. So looking forward to that. All right, so Deb, you ready to get into it? You have history.
I have history. If I can find the right thing to click on. History. Start. All right, so we'll go into Chenin Blanc history. So Chenin Blanc goes by quite a few names. If you're in France and the Loire Valley and you see Vouvray, or you are in the French wine aisle in the liquor store and you see Vouvray, that is Chenin Blanc. Chenin Blanc in South Africa is also known as Steen.
That's what I have.
Yeah. And it's also known as Courts de Charme, Bonnes Vue, Pinot de Loire, and Savennières. And I know I butchered all of those because pronunciation is just not my thing. It's my weakness. So it is thought that the Chenin Blanc was established in the Anjou region of France in the 9th century, and it was known as Chener, Chenere. And in the 15th century, the grape was renamed Chenin Blanc after Mount Chenin, and it was exported to the Touraine region, which is also within the Loire Valley. So it is believed that in 845, the grape was described in 2 royal land grants of Charles the Bald, who was king of West Francia, king of Italy, an emperor of the Carolingian Empire from 875 to 877. And it was detailed in the Abbey of Glanfleur, which was a French Benedictine monastery in the village of Saint-Maur-sur-Loire. And they were growing these vines on the left bank of the Loire River. And the vineyards belonged to the people with the name of Solange and Bessie. And these are pictures of a close-up of the monastery and one far away with the vineyards. And you can't see my pointer, but the vineyards that are in the back as I'm pointing to them, and I'm the only one that can see them. So it goes kind of pretty far back. So Chenin Blanc, the DNA was always in question. And it wasn't until this past July there was an international Chenin Blanc conference, and it was revealed that the DNA lineage of the grape and the missing parent, and they always knew that one parent was the Savagnin, Savagnin grape from the Jura region, but they didn't know what the other grape was, and it was confirmed at this conference that it was called the Savagninese, and that was the other parent of Chenin Blanc. So Savagnin Blanc buds, they ripen early and they produce small berries, and it can achieve high sugar concentration and still maintain the good level of acidity, and it makes for a full-bodied, firm, age-worthy wine that is sometimes called Traminer. And that might be where the Chenin Blanc gets its body from. And the Savagninese is a vigorous grape, and it's a very productive grape. And it's light in aromatics, and it is known in as Friuliano in Italy. So those are the lineage of Chenin Blanc. So let's see here. In 1936, Vouvray, which is located on the right bank of the Loire Valley, it was created as an appellation of origin control, AOC, and the vineyards that are planted on the plateau above the riverbanks in the soils composed of gravel and clay. And Chenin Blanc is a very versatile grape. It's produced dry, semi-sweet, sweet. It's also produced in Cremant, and it is also age-worthy. It buds early, ripens late, and the sweet wines can only be produced in exceptional vineyards that are sheltered from the wind and have good exposure to the sun. And South Africa has a very strong Chenin Blanc production. And there it's called Steen, and it began in the Swartland area. And it's believed that the first cuttings arrived in 1655. And when Steen first became notable in South Africa, it was used as a base for brandy, actually, in the 60s. And it was also used as a semi-sweet blend along with Claret Blanche. And there is a theory that the name Steen developed when the Dutch who settled in the Cape decoded Listan to Lestan, then Destine, and finally Steen. Chenin Blanc counts for 18% of the wine grapes grown in South Africa and is widely planted in the Stellenbosch north to Oliphants River in the east and to Klein Karoo. In South Africa, it is grown as a bush vine. And hold on. In closing, I want to say, Chenin Blanc, it's grown all over. It's grown all over France, South Africa, Portugal, California, New York, New Zealand, and Argentina. So, and it's very versatile.
That it is.
Yeah, I mean, it can make a lot of different styles of wine.
Yeah, I've really only had dry or sweet. I haven't had sparkling or anything
I
like
have.
that. I look for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for looking for it. Okay, we are moving on to the general characteristics. So Chenin Blanc, general characteristics. Chenin Blanc, as you mentioned, I believe that's the exact same slide. Chenin Blanc originated in the Loire Valley of France. Today it is extremely common in South Africa, which has about 1/5 of the plantings and of the entire plantings of Chenin Blanc. Known to be rather versatile grape with the ability to produce both still and sparkling wines as well as dry, semi-sweet, and sweet wines. So we're repeating a lot of information.
Yeah.
One of the U.S. most well-known advocates for the grape is Pascaline Lepeltier, and she's the influential and charismatic master sommelier and wine director of New York's Rouge Tomate in Chelsea. She grew up in the Loire Valley, and she remembers that her family drank fairly basic, even inferior sweet wine made from Chenin Blanc, because that's what was available to her family at that time. And that was obviously when she was younger, so a few decades ago. But she is now excited that the label has now changed and is captivated by the grape's complexity and acidity early in her career. So she's traveled to follow Chenin Blanc. So she's traveled to experience as much Chenin Blanc as she possibly can. And over time, she visited Chenin producers and came to understand that the grape's maligned image was not really the result of the grape itself, but because of the winemaking process. And that we see that a lot with a lot of the grape varieties that are now becoming more and more popular, but nobody wanted back in the day, was that it really wasn't the fact that the grape itself isn't a good grape for wine. It's the fact that we didn't have the technology, or we didn't have enough knowledge about that grape variety to allow it to grow in the soil that does the best for that grape variety. Or, in a lot of cases, people were over harvesting it, just taking in so much of it tonnage wise, where now as the grape varieties grow in terms of, I guess, age, that the winemakers, we're now learning what works for each grape variety and what doesn't work for each grape variety. And that has what is occurred with Chenin Blanc. Is it's a beautiful grape variety. People just didn't know how to farm it, how to harvest it, and what to look for in it to make a great make a great wine. So Chenin Blanc, as we've both mentioned, is extremely variable depending on the climate in which it is grown. Chenin Blanc tends to be more acidic in cooler regions, while fuller bodied in warmer climates. And that I thought was extremely important, because if you really like the acid in wines, then when you're looking for a Chenin Blanc, you might not really be happy if you're choosing one from a warmer climate. And then what people do in our world is they taste it once and like, oh my God, this grape is horrible. And they don't really know, the experience. So if you're more of an acid head, look for cooler regions where if you want more of a fuller body and more robust wine, look for a warmer climate Chenin Blanc. Also, if you prefer flavors of apples and minerality and honey, again, go to the cool climate Chenin. But if you want those tropical fruit flavors, those higher floral aromas that show themselves, that's going to be in a warmer climate. So knowing what climate does to a grape helps the winemaker produce an exceptional wine. And as a consumer, knowing what you like about a wine, go to what region fits your palate better. As this image shows, color variation is also can change, also very variable depending on the wine itself and where it is grown. Chenin Blanc typically buds early, and the ripening is mid to the late season. The age of the vines, like many grape varieties, the age of the vines have a major impact on the tonnage of the fruit produced. And as with, Zinfandel, as the vine gets older, it gets tired. It can't produce as much yield as it used to when it was younger. So yields are going to drop as the vines age. But thankfully to science, we now have new clones of Chenin Blanc, and they have developed into delay budding, and they now allow for an increased sugar development and allow for longer hang time. So the winemaker can choose a clone that is more desirable for what they're looking for as a product. When planted in limestone soil, Chenin Blanc will have increased acidity. And as you said, Vouvray, where the soil is more calcareous clay, the wines are more rounded and fuller bodied. So Vouvray, I kind of think when I taste it, I think more Chardonnay-esque. It's more of a fuller body. But the Chenin Blancs and the limestones, that's going to create the more acidity. And, as I was doing my hard, research over the summer on Chenin, that's what I was finding is it's those limestone areas that I prefer the Chenin Blanc from. So way back in season 1, we actually did talk about this a bit. So back in season 1, we talked about the sweet wines of Court Gardechaume and their amazing aging potential. It is made, as you mentioned, and we mentioned in season 1, that it is made with the Chenin Blanc grape. They offer complex, nuanced flavors that can pair with both rich, savory dishes and desserts. So that appellation itself is located on a small parcel of land in a single commune on the right bank of the Léon, Rochefort-sur-Loire, within the Anjou district. And that is why in season 1, when we did Court Gardechaume, we drank a Chenin Blanc because we could not find a Gardechaume to save our lives. What you can expect in a Chenin Blanc, the appearance should be deep golden yellow with green reflections. It can go to gold or auburn as it ages. With the nose, you can expect an intense floral and stone fruit aromas in its youth, but as it ages, you're going to start to get some candied fruit and spice notes, as well as that beautiful honey, nuts, and minerality. And the flavors on your palate, it can be crisp, it can be extremely full-bodied, and the wine's sweetness actually is rather deceptive because it has such a high acidity that it really can be a sweeter wine than what your palate is experiencing. And that's the beauty of a balanced wine, right? The acidity tames down the sweetness. Although many are age-worthy, generally speaking, Chenin Blanc is meant to be consumed young. The fresh and fruity category is a refreshing and approachable style of Chenin Blanc. Majority of it is using stainless steel, and that allows for the true expression of the fruit. So bright fruit-forward aromas and flavors can range from tart, Granny Smith, which when I see Granny Smith on a white wine, I am in my happy place. I love the Granny Smith, the green crisp flavors, the limes, which this one is blowing me away with lime, so I'm very happy. And it can also have herbal and floral characteristics. And then I saw in Western Cape, which is very distinct for South African character, the bouquet has a lot of slate, chalk, and flint in it. And lastly, fresh and fruity Chenin is an attractive alternative to an unoaked Chardonnay. So for all those people who are ABCs out there, anything but Chardonnay, go out, try a Chenin Blanc, because this is an excellent example of a way to, test your palate or express your palate on a different thing other than Chardonnay. And there you have it.
Very good. Very good. I definitely have the warm climate Chenin.
Yeah, I'm acidic. I'm acidic, and it is lime and tropical and grapefruit.
I've got tropical.
It's really nice.
And I got some citrus blossom in there.
Yeah, this is a nice wine. A very, very nice wine.
Mine is too. I think it's just kind of cool on the bottle that they have it in. It's kind of very tall.
It's a Riesling Gewürztraminer-esque bottle.
But it's not really sweet.
That's the high acidity, and that is something that is really amazing. Science-wise is like, look, did you see that? My tongue is like salivating from it.
Yeah, this has got some good acidity going too.
So the sweetness can really be there, but your palate isn't
feel
it because of that acidity.
Yeah.
So I am drinking. Where am I drinking? Is my thing missing?
It's in there.
I see yours. I see food pairings.
Chenin Blanc. Chapelet.
Yep, mine is missing.
Is it not there?
Yeah, it's not there.
Hold on.
While you are re-uploading that, I will show my bottle.
Okay.
So I am drinking. I believe it is called a Spire.
Oh.
And it's kind of cool. I'm not really sure if this is meant to be there because it's very weird. I don't know if you can you see that?
What is it?
It's like an etching in the glass.
On the top?
There's absolutely no reason to have that etching there. So I think it is a defective bottle. I think it is an actual crack. My bottle is like cracked in half in that area. It's not leaking or anything.
Wow.
There's no oxidation of the wine. So it's not all the way through. But I'm actually going to save this bottle. Yeah, that's me. Because I can actually stick my fingernail into that crack, but I'm afraid to keep doing it before I have an entire bottle of wine.
And your wine is fine though.
Yeah, no oxidation. Nothing.
It hasn't gone through.
Yeah, no, it hasn't. But I'm afraid if I keep playing with it and sticking my fingernail in it, that it will just continue to crack. But never in my life have I seen that on a bottle where it's cracked like that in the middle of a bottle. Very often you see it on a cork, a bottle that has a cork.
Yeah.
That the neck is cracked or something like that. But I've never seen a crack horizontal across a bottle before. So as I finish the bottle, I'm then going to play with it and see what goes on afterwards. So Spire, this is kind of cool. This bottle of wine cost me $8.20.
Wow. Oh my God, that is cheap.
I know.
How do they make money with something like that?
What?
How do they make money with something like that? I mean, it's got to come across on a boat.
They have glassware that's got cracks in it. No, I don't know. It's a very large production. So they're buying they're buying everything in bulk. But yeah, I'm going to have to ask Liz Wolf, who is the importer for South Africa, Red Wolf Imports.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
If she's familiar with them, because they are very, very large producer. So that is Spire, and so it is located in Stellenbosch, South Africa, and it has been in business since 1692. So that's on the label here is 1692. And it is actually one of the oldest wine farms in all of South Africa. After more than centuries, Spire is actually still a family-run winery. It is today owned and managed by Enthoven family, who bought the farm in 1993. And they actually have a 4-star awarded by the Condé Nast Traveler. So it's a 4-star hotel. And in the Condé Nast Traveler 2015 Reader's Choice was ranked 18th in the top 25 hotels of Africa. Not really sure how many hotels there are in Africa, but this was the 18th out of 25. And this picture is the picture of a Heath Nash chandelier, and that is made using 334 recycled Spire wine bottles.
I think that's great. I noticed that chandelier. I was like, that is just way cool.
Isn't that cool? That is so cool.
I want one of those.
Yeah, well, you know what? When Dracaena Wines has a tasting room, we'll start collecting our bottles, and I will make a chandelier that is 335 bottles. So when you visit the winery, it's kind of cool because they have the hotel and they have a whole bunch of other stuff that is going on. There are various tasting menus that you can try. So there's something for everybody. And I thought this is great. And I have to say that I was a little upset when I read this, because when we were in Paso in Thanksgiving, we went to Cal Coast Brewing. Shout out to Cal Coast Brewing. That they have grape juice boxes. You go to Costco and you buy grape juice boxes for the little kids who come into the brewery, right? And I said to Mike, I'm like, you know what? When we have a tasting room, we're going to do this, except it'd be kind of cool if we had grape juice and cherry juice and all these different juices. And while mommy and daddy are tasting wine, the kids can be doing a grape juice tasting.
That would be cool.
Right? I was like, this is...
Totally get into that. When my kids were young, we were up in Niagara in Canada, and a Chateau de Charmes actually gave the kids grape juice.
See, now I thought I was being brilliant. I was like, I'm going to have
tasting. They just gave them grape juice.
See, so
I do tasting with mom and dad. That would be way cool.
So that is like in my, I have my folder in one of my, computer folder files or whatever of things we're going to do when we have a tasting room. And that was one of it, which I probably should edit it out because I don't want anybody stealing my brilliant idea. But I read they have a children's grape juice tasting. And but they are actually tasting actual grape juice. So before it's fermented,
right.
They're pulling it out. I was like, oh, so I wasn't the first one to think of this, but I'm still claiming it as mine. And I should go, I don't know if you can trademark that, but that's my idea. Nobody steal it. And you also can take a Segway tour through the vineyards and a garden. So I don't think you can actually physically drink when you Segway, but
that would be before you taste.
Yeah. I think I've been on a Segway, and you need to be sober when you're on a Segway. So Spire has actually 5 tiers of wine. This wine is from the Signature Collection, which they brand in their words like a chef's signature dish. Spire's Signature Collection represents what Spire does best. Then there's the Seward Collection, which is sourced from terroir close to the cold Atlantic Ocean and the temperate waters of False Bay. Then there's 235, which Creative Block is their most awarded range of blends made with 2, 3, or 5 varietals from specially selected vineyard blocks. And then they have 21 Gables, which honors their farm's architectural legacy, an unrivaled 21 unique Cape Dutch gables. I don't know what that means. And then their last one is Franz K. Smit. and that's their flagship wines, and that's a tribute to their cellar master. And that's 2 limited release blends handcrafted by Franz K. Smith. And they also make a Method Cap Classique sparkling, and that's just South Africa's way of saying traditional method. So they're making a champagne style, or a sparkling in the champagne method. The vineyards for the Chenin Blanc are a combination of alluvial and decomposed granite in the mountain foothills. The fruit was hand harvested with a slight crush before press, and so a very little, very brief contact of the skins. The free run juice is collected overnight and then separated, racked, and inoculated with yeast. And then the remaining juice they actually keep separate, and that goes through the same fermentation process but separate. And then maturation occurs on the lees for 3 months in stainless steel. Now, it's kind of like on the lees gives you a fuller body and that creaminess on your tongue, on your palate, and stainless steel gives you the acidity and the flavor and the fruit forwardness, the crispness. I personally, if I was blind tasting this, would never have said it was, batonnage, that they stirred it on lees. I don't get that full body at all. I would classify it as a light body. And their tasting notes, Chenin Blanc is both crisp and fruity with green, guava, pear, apple, and hints of lychee on the nose. I don't know what lychee smells like, so I can't agree with that. It definitely is apple, and it's the green apple. I don't really get, I guess I get a little bit of pear, but I'm getting grapefruit. I'm getting a tropical.
Really?
Well,
I have tropical in mine too.
Tropical. And then they say a well-balanced palate and a strong finish. It definitely has a very long finish. You saw before I was salivating for like 5 minutes after I tasted it. So they recommend tasting and pairing it with sesame-coated chicken and grilled goat cheese on crisp bruschetta. So this isn't lasting till I get around to having goat cheese, but I am telling Mike he needs to make me for Christmas grilled goat cheese on crisp bruschetta, because that just sounds amazing. And this wine won a gold medal in the 2019 Veritas Awards, but I don't know what that is. But congratulations. So there you go.
I'm writing something to Michael here.
Oh.
So his wine was $10, I think.
Okay.
I said mine broke the bank.
At 32, that's pretty expensive for a Chenin.
Yeah. Yeah, between the two of you, yeah, mine was 32. So I'm drinking Chapelet 2016 Chenin Blanc, Napa Valley. And full disclosure, I'm a Chapelet Wine Club member, so I didn't have to go to the liquor store. And I asked people here in the land of misfits for Chenin Blanc to be told that they don't have one. But I've been a Chenin Blanc member for, years, or Chenin Blanc, a Chapelet member for years. I mean, we're talking I've been down here probably a good 20 years, 15 years. I mean, long time. I'm a loyal customer. When I find something that I like, I stick with it. Yeah. I don't jump around. So all these pictures are pictures that I've taken when I've been at Chapelet. Just so that you know.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the back. So when you enter the winery, this is in the back of the winery. Pictures of their vineyard. So this probably was taken, I was there in like March, a couple years ago. So in the late 1960s, Don Chapelet brought his family to Pritchard Hill on the advice of Andre. He mentored with this guy, Andre, and I can't pronounce his last name to save my life. And I've been practicing it. Chef.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah. And so Don founded the winery in 1967. And Chapelet was one of the first to pioneer high elevation hillside planting. And they're one of the only remaining family owned Napa Valley wineries that go back that far in winemaking history. And their goal is to create world-class wines with depth, complexity, and character of the finest first growth Bordeaux. Say that 10 times fast. So that is my hand. At least I had nail polish on. Although we're tasting Chenin Blanc here, Chapelet is actually known for producing great Cabernet Sauvignon. Chapelet helped establish Pritchard Hill as one of California's most revered wine growing sites. The estate has 48 individual vineyard blocks, each highlighting various soil types, various elevations, exposures, and grades. Their winemaker, Philip Corallo Titus, has been with Chapelet for more than a quarter of a century. And he gently ferments and ages most blocks individually so they maintain their own individual distinctive characteristics throughout the winemaking process. In the early 80s, Chapelet, long before the term sustainable was really ever used, Chapelet was one of the first wineries to plant cover crops as a method for soil conservation and erosion prevention. This early adaptation of practices such as no-till farming has evolved into a comprehensive program of sustainable techniques used to eliminate the use of synthetic chemicals. These techniques include the use of cover crops, bird boxes, on-site composting, and organic fertilizers. As a result, Chapelet has achieved organic certification from 2 California certified organic farmers, and in 2012, has certified organic farmers in 2012. There's only 102 of the 640 acres that Chapelet owns are planted. 65 are planted to Cabernet Sauvignon, and the rest are all small blocks of Merlot, Malbec, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, and Chenin Blanc. They also produce a Chardonnay. Let me go on here.
Oh, wow.
So this is in their barrel room, but when we visited a couple of years ago, there was some big Napa Valley, it was in March, so it was some big Napa Valley event going on, and they were hosting a portion of it. So they were setting up, and it was like that was the only day in my schedule that I could go there. And I told them, don't worry, I'll just come another time. And they're like, oh, no, you come. So we went up to the vineyard. It was like 10:30 in the morning. We had a nice tour, a nice tasting. Molly was there helping, set up for this thing. Molly is the mother. It was just, they go out of their way for the wine clubs. I was just like, really, you don't have to make time for me. I can come back, But they're like, oh, no, they insisted Paul and I come up. And so we got to see how they were kind of set up for this event. So it was kind of cool. So today, the second generation oversees the day-to-day operations, and it's led by Cyril, Clarissa, and Dominique. So I want to tell you a funny story about when I was there many years ago, like 2006, I want to say. So yeah, I've been a member for quite a long time. We were doing a tasting and a tour, and Cyril comes in. And he's like, I need a tasting. I need a bottle. I'm going to meet with other winemakers, winery owners in Napa Valley. And he was all like perplexed. I need to find a bottle to take. What bottle should I take with me? And that's my memory of Cyril. And he's probably about my age, So it was just kind of funny as when I look back and I see, you kind of see history in the making, because now he's, you know, running the place with his sister and brother. They're the nicest family. They're really, good people. And they produce, like I said, Cab, Chenin Blanc, Chardonnay, Merlot, Cab Franc, Malbec. So this is the wine. So as you see here Molly Chapelet, and why do I always think I have a pointer? Molly Chapelet is signature on here. Cabernet Sauvignon and the Chardonnay carry Don Chapelet's name on it, and the Chenin Blanc is Molly's baby, so it's her signature wine. So that's why her signature is on the bottle. The Chenin Blanc was actually originally on the property when they purchased it, but they tore it up and replanted it in 2004 and reintroduced it as a signature designation. So this particular Chenin Blanc, it's fermented in a combination of neutral French oak barrels and stainless steel tanks. In 2016, the growing season was good. Chenin Blanc was harvested September 10th, 2016 at 23 bricks and has an alcohol content of 14.1%. So that's pretty much it on that.
Mine is 13.5%.
What is yours?
13.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it, and you know what? At $8.20.
Mine's nice too. Mine is very elegant. It's got, it's bright and lively on the palate. It finishes with mouth-watering. What?
I think we're talking two different levels here.
Yeah, but it's bright and lively, and it finishes with mouth-watering acidity, like, it's kind of the acidity that you just want to keep going for more. Tropical fruit. The nose on it has some citrus, Meyer lemon, a little honeydew. But there's also something balanced and soft as the acidity then bursts out, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, that could be, if it's on lees, that could,
Oh, hi, Karen. Karen just showed up.
Oh, she's drinking Dry Creek. Very nice. Very nice.
Karen, how much was your Chenin Blanc? How much did you pay for it?
13% alcohol. All right. So, Deb, you're up again for food pairings.
Okay.
This is, you probably had a plethora.
Oh my God, I could have went on and on and on with this.
Chenin Blanc is a great wine for food. I mean, it's across the board. You can sit here and drink it by itself because it's crisp, it's lively, it's the acidity. But then again, because of the acidity, the food pairings, you can go in so many directions with it. So I'm curious.
So I'm going to tell you a little self-promotion here. I used a lot of stuff that we've made at the restaurant.
That's awesome.
So, so because of the acidity, Chenin Blanc and the different styles that it can be made, it pairs with so much food, so many different kinds of food. So it's important that you know what type of Chenin Blanc that you're purchasing with the meal that you're going to be having. Because like if you're going to be, something Thai, you're going to want something with a little bit of residual sugar in it and stuff. But even not, you know what, my Chapelet will pair well with this. This is, what you're seeing here is pork belly, Asian style pork belly. That we just finished out the season with. It was so freaking good. It's goat cheese, mashed potatoes, and hare corvères. This would go wonderfully with it. Peking duck is another example of a dish that this will pair well with. Oops, what happened there?
I don't know.
Let me go back into the slide. Was it on yours too? Did it go blue?
Blue? No.
Yeah. Oh, mine went blue. My screen went blue. That's weird.
That's what I was just looking at.
So this right here, a medium-bodied or old vine Chenin Blanc will pair nicely with scallops and shrimp. And that's what this is, scallops and shrimp over seafood risotto. Compliments of Chef Gus. This is not Chef Gus. I couldn't be so self-absorbed there. A fuller style that is oak will pair well with something in a creamy sauce. So this is shrimp in a creamy sauce or scallops in a creamy sauce. And also lobster. It'll pair really well with lobster. You got that butterness, a fuller style Chenin Blanc. And then we're going to go hit the brats. And we serve this with one of our wine dinners. It must have been the fall wine dinner with Decibel wines. And I think we served it with the Viognier.
Oh, because I was at Decibel, but I had a whole other menu. You took very good care.
I think it was, I can't remember. I'd have to go look at the menus. But brats can go well with the medium Chenin Blanc, especially if it has like a touch of sweetness to it. And it also can go well with sushi. I mean, it's pretty versatile with the acid, tuna tartare, or smoked salmon, fish and chips. And, I'm going ahead of myself. These are all the next upcoming slides. But this is, tuna tartare, smoked salmon, and salads that have a hint of citrus or, we have the apple.
Yep.
So, apples, pears, cheese. This is your kind of salad, Lori.
Yeah, and that would go amazingly well with this.
This would go really well with the goat cheese. It's got
goat cheese, the cranberries.
Yeah, I don't think those are those cranberries. I think it's,
or is it beets?
It looks like beets, but I'm thinking, and there's butternut squash in there too.
Yum, yum,
and
yum.
there's pumpkin seeds.
Yep, yummy, yum, yum.
And last but not least, apple pie.
See, and that's the very nice thing about Chenin Blanc. Like, that's a wide array of foods, and all the way down to dessert. So, I mean, in reality, you could have a meal, an entire dinner from start to go, appetizer to dessert with different Chenin Blancs.
You can different. That would be a great wine dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right.
But finishing off with an apple pie.
All
with a slightly botrytis Chenin Blanc.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, so we are getting ready to wrap it up. So the very last thing that we're going to do with Chenin Blanc is we are going to give you some fast facts. So if you can't remember this entire episode of Chenin Blanc, of course, you could always come back and watch the video on our YouTube channels or listen to the podcast. But here's 5 fast facts for you to be able to walk away from about Chenin Blanc. So, number 1, Chenin Blanc was the most widely planted white grape in California. before Chardonnay took its place in the 1970s. That blew my mind, quite honestly.
Wow.
Like to know how small the production is now in California, and to think that it was the most widely planted prior to Chardonnay, it blew me away. But again, it goes back to they weren't growing the grape vines correctly. So now they're starting to come back. So that is number one. Vouvray is a white wine made with Chenin Blanc grapes that grow along the banks of the Loire River in the Touraine district of France. Wines range in style from dry to sweet and still to sparkling. Number 3, known also as Pinot de la Loire in the Loire Valley and Steen in South Africa, where it is the most widely planted variety. And now you actually had Sauvignon as the other parent.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. I didn't find that information. So that's kind of cool. That just goes to show we don't talk to each other.
We don't. I don't look at your stuff. When I put it up in there, it's like.
So that's kind of cool. See, I did all the same research of the same grape variety, and I got to learn something new from your research that I didn't find.
I thought there was a Chenin Blanc Congress this past summer. It was the first year of this Congress.
That I do know, because there, is it Bart Hansen? Yeah, Bart Hansen, I think was the one who really started that committee, that conference. He makes a Chenin Blanc. And so I listened to a podcast called the Winemakers Podcast, and he's on that. And so I heard all about the conference and everything. Which shout out to him, because I, of course, more research. I sent him a whole bunch of questions of what he looks for in his vineyard, of, when he harvests, what he does, and all of that stuff. And he responded and answered the questions for me, as well as Dan from Decibel Wines answered questions to me.
Oh, did he? He's a great guy.
He is, and stay tuned for a future podcast, because I will be interviewing him, I believe, next week.
Oh, great.
In an interview. But that, complete sidebar. The wine world is an amazing place, because on this side, the bloggers and the writers, it's a nice, tight community, and everybody looks out for each other, and everybody talks to each other, and it's a very warm and cozy environment. But I have the I'm going to say luxury, the honor, the privilege of being on the other side of it, also in the wine making aspect of it. And it's the same thing. There's not, people are willing to help each other to develop a program. Bart, he loves Chenin Blanc, and he's willing to answer questions so that another Chenin Blanc can come into the world, type thing, so it's a lovely, it's a beautiful world. The wine world is amazing. The other thing that I thought was kind of cool is Sauvignon Blanc is actually a sibling with Chenin Blanc and Gruner Veltliner and Sylvaner. So we've talked about a lot of these grape varieties, and they're all related to each other. So that's kind of cool, or I thought it was kind of cool anyway. Okay. In 1999, DNA analysis has shown, that was that slide. DNA analysis has shown that Chenin Blanc has a parent-offspring relationship with the Jura wine grape Sauvignon. Additional DNA evidence shows that Chenin Blanc shares a sibling relationship with Trousseau and Sauvignon Blanc, and which strongly suggests that it is Chenin Blanc that is the offspring, and Sauvignon is the parent. And this last slide, over the years, Chenin Blanc has also been frequently confused with other grape varieties with whom it does not seem to have any close relationship with. So this includes the Portuguese wine grape Verdejo, grown on the island of Madeira, Machu Picchu. I don't know how to say it. Macapulche. I can say the grape, the region. I can't say that though. And in the Azores, as well as the Spanish wine grape Abbillo, which was confused with Chenin Blanc in Australia. And that is 5 fast facts for you.
Oh, it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it goes back far, as far as the history of it.
Yeah. And, it's a great variety that is coming into its own.
And it's very versatile. I don't think people understand that. I think people get stuck on what's on the forefront, the Cabs, the Merlots, the
Right.
Malbecs, the Chardonnays, the Sauvignon Blancs, that when they see Chenin Blanc, people aren't familiar with him, so they tend to, well, I don't know that great. I'm going to go with, I know the name Chardonnay.
Right.
Or I know the name, Sauvignon Blanc. But what they don't know is that, a Chenin Blanc, hey, it's like, I don't want to say it's like a Chardonnay because it's not. It's definitely more acidic.
Well, yours is.
Mine is.
Yours is. There are Chenin Blancs out there that are more full-bodied, that are more esque, that would be more of a Chardonnay-esque wine.
This is more of a stainless steel Chardonnay.
Yes. Yes. I don't think anybody would ever, no version of Chenin Blanc would ever be confused with a Butterbomb Chardonnay.
No.
That's never going to happen it's not happening to a Chenin Blanc. But stainless steel and unoaked Chardonnay, this is a great alternative to.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, like, people they go with what they know. And they don't know, or they haven't heard of Chenin Blanc because it's not a grape that's on the forefront.
Correct.
You might be able to get it somewhere by the glass, but it's,
Yeah, I don't know. It is definitely an under recognized grape.
It is.
I don't know if there is a Chenin Blanc day, but is there?
I don't know.
But I promise you that if there is not a Chenin Blanc day, if we do go ahead and make a Chenin Blanc next year, I am not starting Chenin Blanc.
Yes, there is.
Okay, thank God.
June 15th.
When is it?
June 15th.
Okay, June 15th. Beautiful. I cannot start any more wine holidays. Cab Franc Day is more than enough for me.
June 15th is Chenin Blanc Day.
All right, so there you go. June 15th, Chenin Blanc Day. We will have to look into who started that and see what's going on with how we can celebrate that other than just obviously opening up a bottle of Chenin.
Yeah. So next month, I totally screwed up Winephabet Street again because I'm going out to Nashville to visit my daughter, and I can't guarantee I'm going to be available because it's our last night in Nashville. So we changed it to Monday, January 13th. So we're sticking with the Monday.
Okay.
It's just a week earlier.
Yep. So January 13th. And again, whenever you forget what date it is, whatever, you can just go to winephabetstreet.com. When you register, they get a warning, right, Deb? They get a reminder. They get a reminder if they've signed up.
Yeah, they get a couple of reminders. Yeah.
And all free. So instead of watching us through our nice little Instagram live right here, or on our YouTube channels, which of course you're always welcome to go watch those videos, you can join in the conversation. And we do have chat here, so we can talk to people on the chat. And
feel free to email us also if you have any questions.
Right, questions,
or suggestions.
Yeah, please let us know if there is a grape variety that you would like us to research and discuss, throughout the rest of season 2. We're only up to C, so. We're good.
Oh, so Dorfender is D.
Yes, D.
So
Dorfin.
that's D.
All right. So,
Oh, Happy New Year to you too, Karen.
yes, Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
happy holidays.
May everybody have a safe holiday season. And we will see you again in, oh my God, 2020.
2020. Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Wow.
Yep.
Sounds so weird. But anyway, cheers, everybody. Happy
Cheers.
New Year. Happy holidays.
Slancha, thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Love you. Take care.